very much, Esi, for being here with us and flying in overnight to join the Global Leadership Summit. We truly appreciate your time. Please take a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to the Honorable Minister as he makes his way out of the Global Leadership Summit. Well, a little bit about Esi. She spent over 3 decades tracking what's happening in the world of consumption, what's happening with FMCG companies. And today, what is the last count, Esi? A couple of months ago, it was 3.4 billion people consume something that comes out of the Unilever stable every day. What is the current count?
Yeah, it's 3.5 billion people that we serve all around the world with our products, and I'm so proud of that. But first, thank you for inviting me, and congratulations on 25 years of success.
Thank you very much. I know what it takes to create a legacy brand, and you have plenty of experience doing that, Esi. So let's talk a little bit about that. You said everything is changing in marketing, yet nothing is changing. So let's address that. Given the many dynamic changes that we are seeing today, as you look at consumption, as you look at consumer behavior, what are the few mega trends that you're tracking that you believe will shape the way that companies address and serve consumers?
Yeah, so first of all, Unilever it has the privilege of serving, as you mentioned, 3.5 billion consumers each and every day around the world. We're in over 190 countries. We have over 400 brands. And so there's so much that we can capitalize on with that breadth. I do say everything and nothing has been changing. That means the fundamentals of what people need don't change. The fundamental foundation of how you build a brand doesn't change, but people's lives have changed, and in ways that are enormous. And there's so many trends that are driving the change. And I think of those in 3 areas. One is people are living differently. And that is a lot because of the macroeconomic changes that you're experiencing here in India. We see a rising middle class and affluence. We see that doubling the number of people in the middle class over the time period until 2030. We also see increased urbanization. We see it by 2050, almost 70% of the world's population will be living in an urban environment. We also see, in terms of these macroeconomic shifts, population shifts in terms of aging. We have seen and project by 2050 a tripling of people living over the age of 80. That is enormous. India, on average, has a younger population, but it will also age over that time period. So we see tremendous macroeconomic changes. But then there's some lifestyle changes that go along with that. One of those trends is what we call the wellness revolution. People want to live better. That's physically better, and it's mentally better. And that is changing and creating enormous opportunity for us to grow and boost our brands. The other thing we see is what I would call the joy and experience economy. That's people wanting to invest in themselves, products that bring joy, pleasure, delight, experience, and interestingly, that earn a premium. We see, because of COVID, there's so many of these lifestyle trends. People returning to their homes, a home culture, investing in their homes. As you can see in our portfolio of products, home care products, that makes a difference. And then we see the huge influence of social. And the influence of social in the market is driving aspiration and creating imagination and access to commerce and new global trends. We see that in food all around the world. People are craving food culture. In the Western world, Indian flavors. In the Eastern world, Western flavors, because of this influence in social. So we see a number of lifestyle trends that we're able to use to innovate, make new markets, and grow, certainly, our business. And then the business trends. Media and retail are changing. Retailing is changing. Data is becoming the king, and not just relationships as it has been in the past. And then, we're talking trends. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk technology and what's happening with AI, Gen AI, and its disruption. So a number of trends that we can count on to drive our brands and our business.
Well,
at
a
Unilever.
number of trends, and let me unpack some of what you just said, and let's pick up on technology, which was one of the key aspects that you spoke about. How are you at Unilever leveraging AI capabilities? How are you leveraging the power of data and technology to drive your power brands forward?
Yeah, so we're driving technology in lots of ways. When we think about technology, it starts first with what is our business strategy? And when our business choices, how can we use technology and AI to unlock that? Because really it's a tool to do things better, faster, and more productively. In terms of our strategy, it starts with our brands. Our goal is to focus on those power brands. So of the 400, there are 30, so unlocking the potential of those power brands. The other thing is to expand and create new markets with innovation, coming to market quicker with those innovations in a more bigger and disruptive way. And then the other is to drive premiumization and productivity. So how we're using technology is to speed up our innovation cycle. We have a wonderful innovation called Wonder Wash. It may surprise you, but people don't like to spend a lot of time doing laundry. So our Wonder Wash,
No surprise there.
no surprise, cuts down that cycle time of doing laundry in a machine by 15 minutes. And up until now, there's been no detergent, no laundry detergent that is designed to work in a fast cycle. We brought that to market in an accelerated time by the prototyping that we were able to leverage by using AI. What are the right scent preferences? How do we cut down on ingredient development time, et cetera, and deliver superior results? So we've been using AI, like 500 applications of AIs for decades, and we continue to use that for the strategy to build our brands and to innovate.
So let me just ask you a quick follow-up question on that. You talked about the accelerated pace of innovation and how it's brought down the time to go to market. What are we talking about? A couple of weeks, a couple of months? I mean, what's the turnaround time now between idea and execution and market?
We have some examples actually near and dear to our heart in India where we've been able to innovate in 3 months instead of an 18-month or 2-year period. Significant. An example of that is Sunsilk with onion and jojoba. The AI leverage of innovation allow us to identify, again, the trends, the ingredients, and do rapid prototyping, significantly reducing cycle time.
Let's talk a little bit about India, Esi, and it's great to have you here. Of course, you've got your entire team here in India working their magic on how to draw in more Indian consumers. But as you look at what's happening in the world today, as you look at the demographic shifts that you spoke about, the consumption shifts that you spoke about, how would you pack in India as far as Unilever's global growth strategy is concerned?
India is known as the heartbeat of Unilever.
Heartbeat of Unilever.
And we see Rohit here, my colleague, who is the CEO of this beautiful business. And India is so important to the business. India is really the only market leader that sits on our global executive team. It is an important pulse of the Unilever business. And will continue,
deserve a round of applause
and will
there,
continue
yes.
to be. If we look at all the trends that I spoke of early, India is at the core of those trends. The affluence of the middle class. Look at aspiration. And of course, 1.5 billion people in India and growing its impact in the economy. Of course, it's fundamental to what we do. And even more importantly, it is the projected growth of the economy and how important it is to our business. So all those trends, home culture, food culture, joy economy, beauty culture, wellness culture are alive and vibrant. Rohit will be speaking later today, and we'll talk more about how the strategies come to life. As we've renewed our strategy into 2030, we've reaffirmed the critical role of India in delivering our growth. Said another way, if India doesn't grow, we will not be able to accomplish our objectives, and India will grow, and we will deliver our objectives.
So India is crucial to Unilever's global growth strategy.
Unequivocally.
talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the world at this point in time. It is volatile, that would be an understatement, and there are many things that are impacting the way that consumers spend. Inflation hopefully is starting to taper down globally as well. What are some of the opportunities as well as some of the global risks that you're factoring into business?
Yeah, it's a dynamic time. So much so, I would say, change on its own is a big disruption. We talk a lot about the AI revolution, but change its own. And for me, I would actually respond to that more in terms of leadership. The biggest thing we need, companies are people. So what we need in addition...
And consumers are people.
And consumers are people. And in fact, you know, and I think about what's important for us in business is to remember that. Because we often think about people as consumers and not always as humans. So they're humans that buy our products, that we earn that purchase through, and they're humans that make up our business. So people are at the core. So as we think about disruption, we have to think about people. Us as business leaders, how we arm ourselves to be fit in this agile, dynamic journey. So much is changing around us. We have to keep ourselves fit, fueled, inspired, educated to deal with the changes and understand the changes that people who consume our products will go through. And look at that as opportunity. Opportunity for innovation. Look at that as opportunity for our businesses through technology. So when you ask about dynamic times, the most important thing for me in that is people capacity.
Speaking about being fit, fueled and inspired, Esi, you know, what does it take for you to be able to do that? I mean, is there a mantra that you follow to stay fit, fueled and inspired?
Oh, that's so interesting. It's a good question. I think about, I have a range of leadership principles. One of them is manage your energy, not your time, because time is finite, energy grows. So what I try to do in my life is invest time and effort in the areas that I get energy from. Mm-hmm. So people often say to me, Esi, how do you do all those things? I mentor a lot. I'm passionate about so many things. What I do is get more energy from the things I do than I give. My visit here to India, upon your invitation, brings me energy instead of adding an energy. So when you ask about a mantra, it's setting up my life so that I'm fueled by the things that I do to manage my energy so that it grows instead of limiting. And that keeps me fueled, inspired, and energized.
Well, thank you for adding that. I think that's a wonderful mantra. Manage your energy, not just your time. I think that is something that I'm certainly going to take back away from this conversation, Esi. But I want to understand from you, and I know that you're a big champion of this, ensuring that companies like yours and the brands that you work with become more accessible, not just to consumers, but also become much more inclusive. As you look at category creation today, from an impact point of view, from an inclusion point of view, do you believe that those are going to be some of the critical pillars that will drive growth as well as brand creation? Unequivocally,
yes. When I think about equity and inclusion, there's so many reasons that's important. And I always start first with what's happening in the world. We started first with trends. One of the demographic shifts is we think about the next billion and a half people that come in the world, that where that growth is going to come from. It's going to come from Africa and Asia. We see the shifts in immigration. There is more diversity in the world, growing than ever before, and people are more demanding for authenticity, self-expression, and identity than ever before. People don't want to be put in a box. Some of that is because of social media, where people are finding people like them in their tribes that they want to express themselves to. So diversity and understanding people and our uniqueness and all of that difference, if it is how we show up in our beauty needs, having a more textured hair like mine, melanin skin with different needs, is super important. And our ability to understand that is essential for our growth. So that means in business, we have to create and attract the same diversity of people. Throughout my career, the 30 years I've been in business, I've seen the power of that. I've seen the power of that on brands and businesses. We see that at Unilever. We see success from making products for textured hair. We see that in our brands Dove, our brand Shea Moisture, and many more. We see the success in managing different skin types on body. We see that in our brands Dove. We see that on Vaseline. So equity and inclusion are good business overall, and as was just discussed on the earlier panel, good for society. Because we often see when people underserved have needs met and join the workforce, it drives consumption and it impacts society.
Esi, you spoke about one of the big mega trends, and I'll end by asking you about that, the wellness trend, the live better trend. How much of that is likely to drive innovation for Unilever, in the next decade or further?
It has already significantly driven innovation for Unilever, the wellness revolution. I will say in 2020, the global well-being market was about 4.4 trillion euro. In 2024, it is about 7 trillion euro. That's in a 3-year period. We acquired a business called Liquid IV. I don't know how many of you here are familiar
I know
with
about
that.
Liquid IV, yes.
Liquid IV is a supplement that you add to water for superior hydration. It gives 3 times the hydration of water. It's used for a number of reasons. Some adults like to use it after they've had a lot to drink to avoid a hangover, but athletes use it, children use it. In fact, women disproportionately use it. When we acquired that business, since then, we acquired it in 2020, the business of Liquid IV is more than 4 times its size in 4 years. So it is slated to be our next billion-euro brand. So it has already significantly driven our business. That's one example. We have so many more. Here in India, how we've extended Horlicks. There are examples around the world. So not only will it contribute to our growth, it has contributed to the growth. And the trend is living better longer. So even in living better, we have so much more in the aging revolution as a part of the wellness revolution.
Esi, finally, 2025, how confident do you feel about the year, and how confident do you feel about India's role as far as Unilever's strategy is concerned in 2025?
Yeah, there's 2 things that you said that I'll use as a foundation of answering that. One is India's role in our growth is critical and significant, and that will continue in 2025. The second thing is how dynamic the world is. I am confident we will experience headwinds, but I'm also confident in our continued growth, and that our growth will come from volume-led growth, from penetration, offering superior value through our brands across the whole brand experience, and continuing to earn a premium. And we will face headwinds and overcome those challenges as we deliver continued growth.
Esi, it's been an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Esi for joining us here at the Global Leadership Summit, for sharing your business as well as your life mantras with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.